All right, welcome to the SNG weekly wrap up. Hopefully I timed that up right. I haven't the last few weeks. We've been a little early. But I've got Dan next to me, Joe below me, or maybe they're all below. Are you seeing the spreadsheet right now?
Both below, yeah.
Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But it's going to be a great show. Very excited. Got a celebrity basketball draft coming this week. However, well, actually, you know what? We haven't done this. We missed last week. How about we start with this? How are you guys doing? What's going on? What's new with you guys?
We'll go with Joe first.
I'm going first in the draft, so you got to go first
Okay.
here.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Nothing crazy new, to be honest with me. It's getting close to Christmas now, and we just came out of like our second kind of lockdown here in the UK. So, like shops and restaurants and gyms and stuff all just like reopened this week. So on like the 2nd of December. So yeah, that's new, but I'm sure we're probably going to get another crazy spike in cases as a result. But yeah, there's some new like rules and stuff, like where you can only go to a pub to have a drink like if you have a substantial meal with it. So there's a lot of like kind of hullabaloo around like what constitutes a substantial meal. I don't know, Joe, what do you think contributes a substantial meal?
I would say something with a side.
Oh, okay.
Something.
So
plus.
you can't get an appetizer then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think that makes sense. The thing they're doing here in Texas, because we've hit restrictions again. All bars are closed, and restaurants back down to 50%, shops down to 50%, probably headed to another like completely closed. But the thing they're doing, breweries and other places are doing, you can buy a beer for $1, but you have to get a side of peanuts for $5, or you have to get a side of like chips and salsa for $5, whatever. So that way their food sales look way higher, their alcohol sales are way lower, but in reality you're just buying the beer. But it was funny, I went, I guess 2 weekends ago, went to this brewery, sitting outside, same rules apply for outside. So we bought 2 beers, came with 2 things of chips, and then we bought another 2 beers and came with another 2 things of chips. So we had like 4 plates of chips that were just uneaten on our table. So it's just, they're kind of just wasting food, but in order to stay open. But it's funny to see what these restaurants are having to do. So I wonder if that's what the UK will do, or if chips don't count probably as a substantial meal. We don't have that
rule. Chips as in, so chips are fries here.
Potato chips, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so potato chips for you, okay.
Yeah.
We call those crisps.
Crisps, excuse me, for all our UK listeners. Crisps or chips.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've never heard the substantial meal thing. That's not how it is in New Jersey, right, Joe?
No, I've never heard that. Our restrictions have kind of been the same throughout. We just can't eat inside after 10 p.m. now. But everything store-wise, restaurant-wise, we've never been above 50% at any point. So
yeah. Texas was at 75%.
Yeah, we
dropped back down.
I think we've been at 25 the whole time, so we have not maneuvered from there. It's been very contentious with the high school athletic rules. Looks like everything is going to be on pause until the end of January, and the spring sports, who are kind of innocent in this, are worried that their seasons are now going to be in jeopardy when you hope by April, May, we might be on the other side of this in a little bit. So a lot of mouths to feed for those people, and there's going to be a lot of unhappy high school seniors that are going to miss 2 baseball seasons because of this.
That would be brutal. I mean, that would be brutal. Be terrible. Oliva picked a good time to get out. Shout out, Coach Oliva,
Perfect
if you're listening.
What's I have a really quick question. It's kind of like a genuine question, but who is this likely to benefit? Like with pro sports, are you likely to see like guys that are slightly older get maybe more time in pro leagues, or are you likely to have kind of are they going to take more chances on young guys that they don't necessarily know as much about because they haven't played as much?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hardest thing is going to be like the NBA. The offseason is so abbreviated for rookies that have hardly even had a chance to like move into the city that they got drafted to.
Mm.
So I think you're going to see like a big learning curve, and you're going to see a lot more of like, for lack of a better term, redshirt years for rookies, where they're not really going to play almost at all if you're not one of the top like 6 picks, and even then, I think you're going to see like a really weak rookie class from the outside perspective this year because guys just aren't going to be playing.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be more about that. I mean, yeah, if you're an older player, 72 game season probably is a little beneficial with less travel. Benefits LeBron, who's probably going to get another year out of this. So yeah, that's a good point.
I think you saw it already in the NFL. Running backs, it took a long time for running backs to kind of get into it. In terms of pass blocking and knowing all the schemes, same thing for receivers. So I think the rookies basically in every sport are going to have trouble there. I think it's great for older college athletes that aren't going to play professionally because this year doesn't count for eligibility for a lot of sports. So you're going to get extra years out of it, which is kind of nuts. I think we talked about that the other day, I think, Joe. It's going to be I think it helps college athletes damn more than professional athletes in terms of extending careers.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So this is did you have more on that?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a very AJ heavy show. He was supposed to maybe be a guest. I think he's gonna be a guest next week. Joe, I believe you have a message from AJ before we have a recorded message from AJ. So we're doubling up on the AJ today.
So I'm actually thinking, because I didn't listen to the message yet, I don't want to spoil anything that might be in this message. So all I'm going to say is he thanked me for drafting with Thanksgiving.
Okay. So we'll play the video first. So if you missed our Thanksgiving draft, even though Thanksgiving has passed, it still holds up. Go check it out. Just look at the related videos on YouTube. You'll find it. But AJ was one of the options to be drafted. He submitted a video response. I will say it's 3 minutes long. I have no idea what's on it. I haven't watched it. Dan, I know you've watched it. It's either going to be the best 3 minutes of your day or the worst 3 minutes of your day. So we'll find out here pretty soon. But Dan, why don't you go ahead and cue that up? Joe and I will cue it up on our own computer so we can actually see it.
I'll let you go. We got some we got to line things up here. But yeah, I'll hit play on the clip now, and then if there's a couple seconds on the other side of it that you guys are still watching it, I'll kind of fill that space on the show.
Okay, and just go ahead and mute our mics as well.
Yeah, will do. So here comes AJ with his Thanksgiving message for us.
SNG. Thank you, guys. I mean, in this season of giving thanks, I want to give my thanks in being a part of your Thanksgiving Draft podcast. I feel very honored, although this is also the season for the airing of grievances, and I must make some of my grievances known. I feel like you guys maybe could have, and I'm looking at you, James, could have given me a little bit better of an introduction instead of just, and our mediocre option is our friend AJ. I mean, granted, you mentioned that I would be under the same state of mind as I was on that Mount Rushmore podcast, in which I notoriously forgot that I was recording with you guys and took some hallucinatory, I took drugs. I took drugs before the podcast. I was a bumbling idiot, but I don't think that would be a downside if you were spending Thanksgiving with me in person. I was a little intimidated for being on the show and being in a weird state of mind, but if you're going to be spending time with me in person, I would put that on the plus side. Also, I'm a little disappointed that you didn't mention the Thanksgiving that you spent with me in Texas, where I showed up to your ex-girlfriend's family's house, who I'd never met before, and on the spot cooked up and sculpted a beautiful cornucopia. I think that deemed some notoriety, some recognition, you know what I mean? Anyway, enough about myself. I am deeply, deeply moved that I was even a part of this whole shebang. And my final note would just be to say that James by far had the worst draft in this episode. I don't know how you can defend your choice of your first round pick. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. First 2 picks go off the board. They're the good pies. You get stuck with the shit pie, and your first idea is, all right, well, I want my parents to split the shit pie with me. Are you serious? There's no better first pick for you. Once you're already stuck with the shit pie, you're gonna force your family to eat that shit in their own house? Come on, man. Not cool. But thanks for including me. I hope to be on the show again soon someday.
Nice. Well, it's finished for me. I think it's finished for the viewers.
Finished for me as well.
I must say I had seen it before. I watched the clip, obviously, like loading it in, but the point that he makes about you drafting the pie and then your parents is absolute genius.
Genius point.
It's genius.
I just finished, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, AJ absolutely nailed it on that. That was a great point. I thought his the whole thing was great, and amazingly, Joe. I just want to throw this. I don't want to send ricochet shots or whatever, but it's amazing how AJ could submit a 3-minute video, keep us kind of engaged and interested the whole time. And my dad's history lessons feel like they're about 3 hours long. So props to AJ for that, especially the point where he couldn't figure out how to say hallucinogen. Was pretty good. But yeah, that was great. We'll hopefully have him on next week. But Joe, I want to hear your thoughts on it as well.
Yeah, so the point I did want to make was not spoiled. He's selling Christmas trees today, so I wanted to plug his Christmas tree business, but unfortunately I don't have any other information on it. So I would advise people to send him maybe a quick DM if you want to maybe put up his Instagram at some point.
Where is he selling Christmas trees?
I don't know.
Is it in Jersey or is it in Carolina? You don't know.
He's in Jersey.
He's in Jersey.
I know that.
I don't know.
Well, I just read a blog about Christmas tree selling, so I'm gonna send it to AJ, and hopefully that'll help him out. But that's great. AJ, good friend of the show. For anyone listening that doesn't know AJ, you'll get to know him next week. But you got a little bit of an introduction right there. That was awesome. Should we get into the draft? Do you have anything else to hit on before we get into the draft? Dan, sorry. Do you want to showcase it? I guess this is kind of my draft. I'll tell everyone what it is.
Yeah.
We are drafting our celebrity basketball draft. Dan, I think you went mostly celebrities. I went mostly fictional characters. I don't know what Joe did, but the randomizer has given us the same order as it always does. Joe, Dan, James. So Dan's stuck in the terrible second position yet again. But what we're going to do is we're going to we've all put in a list of players. So we all have 6 players and a coach. We're all going to throw that list into a pool. We're going to draft from that pool. One thing I think I'll say is, as opposed to last week where we had the specific tiers that we were drafting from, I think since it's basketball and basketball is basically positionless, I think you should just be able to draft any player at any position. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that helps me.
You can. Okay, cool. Yeah, exactly. I figured that would help as well. Yeah. So Joe, since you're going first, do you want to reveal your pool of players first?
Well, I need to get the rules straight a little bit. I'm giving you, since I didn't give you my pool yet, we're not doing it like last week where we're picking our pool in order. We're throwing the whole thing out there right now.
You're throwing the whole thing out there right now, and then you're going to be drafting from the entire pool. So
got it.
You could theoretically draft your whole team if you want, but
so I did all fictional characters. My problem is I don't know if I'm going to repeat any of yours. This is
that's all right. If you repeat, I'll think on the fly. No worries.
So my first player here is Nick Cage's character in My Left Foot,
Okay.
and I don't know if you know what his name is.
I don't. I'll look it up right now.
So
I think you picked this last time as well, didn't you?
No, I think because I think I've talked about it, but I think I picked an actual good team, so I would never have picked Nick Cage.
Wait, Nicolas Cage is not in My Left Foot.
Oh,
I
it's
didn't think
Daniel
that sounded familiar.
Day-Lewis.
You're thinking of Daniel
Day-Lewis.
the common mistake between Nicolas Cage and Daniel
Easy
Day-Lewis.
mistake to
Can't you
make.
see that though? Can't you see the resemblance?
Yeah,
of that,
I guess kind of, but
Isn't
Daniel
he in a
Day-Lewis,
movie
the
like that,
greatest
though?
actor of all time.
Isn't he in a movie like that where he like? Oh,
His name is
now.
The character's called Christy Brown.
Christy Brown. Yeah,
C8. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, nice.
I got
Wow.
it.
That's a damn shame. Yeah. You know what? I might pivot my whole draft. I might throw my whole list out the window and do this whole thing differently. I'm gonna do all Daniel Day-Lewis characters. I'm gonna do.
Can't believe.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was him.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, props to Nick Cage for holding that
Yeah.
high of a place in your heart.
No, my whole list is gone. I'm doing all Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay,
So I'm
perfect.
doing There Will Be Blood, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay, you got to give me the names.
Yeah,
You have them there?
his name is. Hold on.
Right. There will be blood. Daniel Plainview.
Daniel Plainview. Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna do Phantom Thread, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Reynolds Woodcock.
Okay.
We're gonna do Abraham Lincoln.
That is not his name, is it? Reynolds Woodcock.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
We're gonna do Abraham Lincoln.
Dan, am I good to go to this column here?
Yeah. You can keep going. Yeah.
Okay.
We're
one
gonna
more.
do Crucible.
Okay.
That's John Proctor.
Okay.
How many did I have? One left.
You have one left.
And then shout out to me. I didn't even pull up his filmography. This is just off the top of my head. As much as I want to prove how much I love Daniel Day-Lewis.
It's got to be surely Bill the Butcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would think.
Yeah.
So Gangs of New York, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay. And then do you want your coach to just be Daniel Day-Lewis?
Well, dude, my coach is Daniel Day-Lewis, method acting as Doc Rivers.
Perfect. I'm gonna put Daniel Day-Lewis as Doc. So I will say I think we should all have to draft a coach. So I think you'll have to draft from we'll each have to take one coach. I think that's fair, right? Yeah. No, I'm just saying we were saying the players are positionless, but you will have to draft your coach.
Okay. So the coach is you have an eligible coach.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. So you have yours is Daniel Day-Lewis as Doc Rivers. Dan, who is your team? Is it all Nicolas Cage?
It's not. So I've got Chevy Chase.
Okay.
Will Ferrell. James McAvoy. I've gone for all
Okay.
actors here.
I love it. It's perfect.
I got Richard Keel, who is the guy that played Jaws in James
I think
Bond.
I picked Richard Keel last time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Jeff Goldblum.
Okay.
I've got Woody Harrelson,
Okay.
and then I just need a coach now. Is that right?
Yes.
And then Ian McKellen, I'll go with as my coach.
Okay.
Sir Ian McKellen.
Excellent. Yes, let me actually note that. That is Sir Ian McKellen. All right. I have John Patrick Mason, who is Sean Connery's character from The Rock.
Okay.
No one guards The Rock better than Jason Patrick Mason. John Patrick Mason. Why did I write Jason? And then I've got Dom Toretto from the Fast and the Furious. I needed Vin Diesel on here. I've got Brian. So Brian is the kid from the movie Thunderstruck who gets Kevin Durant's powers. So
Oh, nice.
it's basically Brian as Kevin Durant. But you still have to deal with the fact that he's a kid. He's 5'2" or whatever. I've got the Kraken from Pirates 2. Just feel like it's kind of a good defender. He's got 8 arms. And then I've got a stormtrooper. So I will say, Joe, as someone who I know has not watched Star Wars, stormtroopers famously can't shoot, but they're pretty strong. We've got a nice base to them, so keep that in mind. And then my coach is going to be Judge Judy. Dan, I don't know if you know who Judge Judy is, but she's a legend, controls the court. So I feel like if anyone's going to keep these players in line, it's going to be Judge Judy. So as it was last time, I don't know why the randomizer hates us and refuses to let me draft first, or anyone but Joe draft first, and just switches me and Dan every once in a while. But same order as last time: Joe, Dan, and myself. Luckily for you, Dan, there's not as many bad options up here.
True.
So the second pick isn't as bad,
yes,
as it was last time. But Joe, you have the first pick. You've got the pick of the board. Who are you taking?
Just to, I guess, double down from pick before, I'll take Richard Keel in the middle.
Okay.
So
and what position do you want him at?
Center.
Your center? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's everything else I can kind of plug and play around him. I think he gives me an advantage. I understand the benefit of the Kraken. Stormtrooper I don't really know much about. And I think I can get some value on the Daniel DayLewis characters later on.
Okay. I like it. Dan, your first pick?
I think I'm going to go with Honest Abe as my first pick.
My pick.
And I'll take him. I'll follow Joe's lead there and take him at my center.
Okay.
I'm positionally, I'm not going to be good on this, so open to recommendations. It doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah. So, yeah.
Here's my question about Abe Lincoln, though: is he actually tall, or is he just tall for that time?
Yeah, that's true. That's what. Oh, I screwed up. By the way, I'm missing one player. I'm missing my sixth, so I'll throw it on there. If anyone wants to change that pick, they can. But Joe, I think he was just tall for the time. I always assume that
he's 1.93 centimeters tall. That's pretty tall.
He's 1.93
even for today. Yeah.
Centimeters.
193 centimeters. Yeah.
193 centimeters.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah. What was he, like, 6'4"? Is that?
Yeah, I was 6'5".
6'4".
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he was tall.
Which is crazy, isn't it? For like basically 200 years ago or whatever. Wait, more.
Yes.
Why am I saying 18?
No.
Yeah.
Less than.
Yeah. 150 years ago. Yeah.
That was a tough situation for all of us.
Wait. Let me just check that. He's born in 1809. So yeah. So he would have been 200 years ago. He would have been 11 years old. So he probably wasn't 6'4" at that point. But we're okay with the 200 shout.
Famous vampire hunter as well.
Yeah, of course.
Abraham Lincoln. So my sixth man, and I'll give you the chance if you want to change your picks. I don't think you will. But I'm picking the Invisible Man. Mm-hmm. I could just see him being a major liability on offense, but a major hassle on defense. You never know where he is. Might just steal the ball from you. You've just got an invisible player, but he's basically got to do a lot of ISO because otherwise no one can pass to him. Do you guys want to change your picks, or you're good where you're at?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. My first pick, I'm going with Brian. It's Kevin Durant. This is Kevin Durant. He's gonna be my shooting guard. And then I need Reynolds Woodcock on my team. I don't know who that is, what that is.
You've ever seen Phantom Thread?
I've never seen Phantom Thread. It looks like the most boring movie.
What's the brief synopsis?
It's bits and pieces. He's basically like an obsessive compulsive fashion designer. I think he'd be a major liability in many ways.
Yeah, but it's Reynolds Woodcock. Maybe I'll move him to my sixth man. You just never know what you're going to get from him off the bench, and it's kind of a risky move maybe to draft the sixth man before drafting the rest of your team. But I just want him on my team.
Yeah.
Listen, it makes it easier for us. It's all make another video from AJ.
Dan, you've got the second pick here.
I'm gonna take James McAvoy as my sixth man.
Okay.
Mainly going on his character in Split.
I was gonna
he
say,
can play
yeah,
quite a few
figured.
roles in the team. I think he's gonna be versatile. So yeah, James McAvoy is my sixth man.
Okay, Joe, you've got your second and third picks.
Let me go with Kraken. Totally agreed for the defensive prowess.
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw.
You want him where? Power forward?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, he will be out of water. I don't believe this game is being played in a pool.
Well, we have a good training staff. We can figure something out. And then give me John Proctor and his strength.
Okay.
At small forward, very crafty player. Yeah.
Okay. It's a good pick.
I need some.
Have you seen Crucible at least, James?
I have seen Crucible.
Yeah.
Yes. I've never seen Gangs of New York, which I believe will surprise many.
Yeah, that is
but I've just never
surprising.
seen it.
Yeah.
Well, funny you should mention Gangs of New York because my next pick was going to be Bill the Butcher. I need some strength and some steel in the middle of my team, so I'll put him in at power forward. Or is that right?
Okay.
PF?
Yes, power forward. Yeah.
Yeah, Bill the Butcher.
All right. So I'm looking at your teams here. Feeling like I'm gonna take. There was no one stronger than Daniel Plainview. I mean that
Physically.
man was physically there was none stronger.
No, I don't think physically.
No, absolutely physically.
He didn't do any of the work at the end. He broke his leg in the beginning and he did everything there, and he had other people working for him after that.
That is true, but he kills Paul Dano with
it wasn't that
with
hard.
a bowling pin.
It wasn't that hard to Paul Dano.
With a bowling pin. Yeah, I'm taking Daniel Plainview. You're not talking me out of this. I'm putting him on my power forward.
The third weakest character. I mean, you might even argue the left foot is stronger than him. But whatever.
Completely disagree. Completely disagree with you. And I am going to take the Stormtrooper as my center.
Strong.
I think he offers a lot of power. Can match with Honest Abe and Richard Keel very well. I don't like this. I don't like every draft pick I make. Joe has a comment, just tearing me down. I get it first from AJ. Now I get it from you. Don't need this.
Let everyone else decide.
Dan, your what is this? Fourth round, your fourth pick.
Yeah. So I think I need like an agitator in there. So I'm going to pick Chevy Chase.
Okay.
Not a lot of people like him. Famously, like one of the least liked guys in Hollywood. But he's also got height on his side. I think he was like 192 centimeters. Or he's still alive. But you do shrink as you get older, so he might have lost a couple centimeters. But yeah, I'll put him in at small forward.
Okay.
Chevy Chase.
Joe, you've got two.
Yeah. Give me Woody. White man can't jump.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
At the 1.
Okay.
And I hate to do this because of his personality, but Will Ferrell's a decent athlete.
Yeah, that's a good pick. It's a great pick. Okay. It's a great pick.
He's taller,
I don't think he's matching up.
Think.
He's not matching up with Brian. Brian's.
Well, I don't really understand the value of Brian when he is the kid. I've never seen the movie, but if he's Kevin Durant's skills, which is that's outstanding.
Yeah.
But he's what, 5'2"?
He's a high schooler.
Oh, he's in high school.
Yeah, he's a high schooler. I think.
Oh, I thought he was like a little kid.
Might be a middle schooler. I can't remember.
He looks like kind of High School Music. Yeah, high schooler. Like Zac Efron in High School Musical type build.
Yeah, he's a high schooler. Yep. Yeah, he becomes the star of his high school team. He's a little bit on the smaller side. I mean, next to Kevin Durant on the poster, it's a little misleading.
Yeah,
Kevin Durant's 7 feet tall.
Point. Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, he's a high schooler. He's not strong. I'm not looking for him to post up, but I think he's blown by Will Ferrell every time.
Where does Jim Belushi possibly play in this movie?
He's the coach. He's the coach that doesn't want Brian on the team. Until Brian wows him. It has to be one of the worst movies of all time. Truly just terrible. Dan, your pick here, your 5th round selection.
Remind me who John Patrick Mason was.
That is Sean Connery from The Rock.
See, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take John Patrick Mason. Although I'm pretty sure he doesn't play a Scotsman in that film. I think he's meant to be American, is he? But
he is, but he sounds
Scottish, so he'll get on well with James McAvoy. There'll be some camaraderie there. And again, yeah, it's another strong pick on my team. So yeah, I'll put him in at the 1 as Joe called it.
Okay. I'm going to take the first coach off the board.
I was going to ask actually, were we leaving the coaches to the end? But
no, because then that would just leave it 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
There. Maybe I should have made that clear, but
no, that's fine.
My game, I make the rules. So we've got Daniel Day-Lewis as Doc Rivers. I mean, Doc Rivers. Joe. I don't like Doc.
Yeah,
Rivers.
that's surprising. I'm not criticizing. This is a surprising pick.
But it's Daniel Day-Lewis.
Doc.
If it was Doc Rivers, I wouldn't touch him. If it's Daniel Day-Lewis as Doc, I'm assuming Daniel Day-Lewis is going to get right into the 2008 Doc, the guy that won the championship. He's going to give it his best Doc. He's not going to give it the last 12 years Doc. Very overrated. And then I'm taking the Invisible Man. I'm going to throw him at the 1. I think he's pesky on defense, like I said. He's always going to be on the ball. You just never know where he is. And then if he's the point guard, he's bringing the ball up. It's no problem. All the guys on their team, they know exactly where the ball is at all times. So yeah, I gotta get the Invisible Man on here. So that leaves only 1 on my team. So I'm gonna be kind of screwed. I know who I'm gonna be left.
Be very screwed now.
I'm gonna be Christy Brown, and so that kind of sucks. Maybe I shouldn't have taken a coach.
Yeah.
That sucks. All right, Dan, your pick.
Well, I am going for. I feel like this is a bit of a sabotage pick, but I'm going to take Sir Ian McKellen as my coach purely because I think if Joe took Ian McKellen as the coach and he got to say the line "Release the Kraken" from the sidelines, I think that's game over for everyone.
Great point.
So I think I need to take Sir Ian McKellen just because otherwise Joe wins this draft hands down.
Great point.
So yeah, that's my pick.
Joe, how are you rounding it out? Christy Brown is still up there on the board. I don't know if you wanted him maybe on your team.
So this is going to be. I don't want Judy to be my last pick. I want to show that I have faith in her, so I'll make her my coach.
Great.
She would have been my kind of. I didn't even think about the Sir Ian McKellen angle there with the Kraken. So I'm happy you took that in my hands, Dan.
Props to us for having 1 woman in this entire draft, by the way. Shout out us. And it was Judge.
It should have been
Judy.
Judge Jeannie from Fox News.
Yes.
Jeannie Pirro. Well, is the Stormtroopers genderless?
Stormtroopers are genderless.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. So it could be, female Stormtrooper.
And then Dom Toretto.
Great.
You gave me 100 choices of what Dom Toretto was before this draft. So who is it? And I found out this was the guy from Fast and Furious.
I would never have known either.
Never ever would have guessed that.
Really? Are you guys? Well, I knew Joe wouldn't be, but Dan, you're not a Fast and Furious guy?
I've seen maybe it's probably still like the first 2 or 3. But yeah, not for a long time. I definitely wouldn't have got his name as that. So yeah.
I will say Dom Toretto as a 6th man, Joe. I know you've not seen the movies. Possibly the worst pick that you could have made. He's a team cancer.
He's a body.
He's a team cancer. He's going to be furious that he's sitting on the bench. He wants to be front and center at all times, even though he's always talking about family. But it doesn't matter. He's all about me. He's all about Dom. So that's a team cancer for you. You've got a good team. That's a team cancer. I just want to throw it out there. My team is losing. I'm going to lose before the opening tip. So it's between you and Dan, and I believe Dan's going to finish here with the better team. Dan, who are you taking? You've got Goldblum or Christy Brown?
It's got to be Jeff Goldblum. Again, bringing height to the team. He's you know, he's going to be there for the good times, there for the bad times. A lot of experience, a career guy, you know. So yeah, he's coming on my team.
It's a great pick. I screwed this draft up as I always do. I screwed up a draft on spreadability this week. I screwed this one up. I end with, I end with a team that could be sneaky. You've got the Invisible Man, you've got Brian. I feel good about basically everything except for Mr. My Left Foot being a starter as well. This is tough for me. I wasn't doing the math right in my head. I didn't think I was going to be left with just one option. Dan, so let's have this debate: Dan versus Joe. I'll be kind of the opinion here, but Dan, make the case for your team. Joe, make the case for your team. We'll start with you, Dan. Why is your team better than Joe's?
I just think I've got consistency all the way through my team. My guys are all from the same species as well, which helps. There will be some unity in that and some chemistry there, perhaps. I've got a good mix as well of fictional and non-fiction, like real people. And I've got a great coach. I think I got the best coach on the board, Sir Ian McKellen. So yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling good, and I've got a great sixth man as well, who's very versatile. So there we go.
Okay, Joe, make the case for yourself.
I think
and by the way, how you ended up with only one Daniel Day-Lewis is beyond me. I don't know. You picked 7 Daniel Day-Lewises and you only ended up with one.
There's 7 out there?
There's 7 out there. There's 6 players and 1 coach. And I ended up with 4. You ended up with 1. Joe, what's your case? What's your case for your team?
I think my team chemistry is tremendous. I think we can keep Dom. I don't know anything about him, but he's not going to not. He's just going to not play. Like he'll still play. He'll be like he'll be in the finishing lineup probably. He's probably a better player than Woody Harrelson, maybe even Will Ferrell. But I think I'm very strong. I think I'm very balanced. I have a lot of size, and I think my guys are going to have fun. And who's better to keep people in order than Judge Judy? He's not going to let any nonsense fly here.
It's true. It's a great point. So to be the deciding vote here, I think it's going to be too hard to defeat the Kraken. I think the Kraken was probably the best player on the board.
How did he go in the second round?
I know.
I don't know. It's probably because I wanted Reynolds Woodcock, just because I wanted him on my team. But I think it's going to be hard to beat the Kraken. Dom Toretto could ruin team chemistry all he wants. To me, I don't know, Dan. I don't see how you're going to stop the Kraken on offense, and I don't see how you're going to get around him on defense.
He's not quick. There's a lot of
but he's got 8 arms.
That could happen.
And he just goes like this. Maybe 6 arms or Kraken squid.
He would just be laid across the court. I think my team will have to go over.
You're gonna have to jump. You just lay him at center court. Yeah. You're gonna have to dribble over the Kraken.
Yeah, because he, like you say, he's out of water, so he's not really gonna have much movement. But he will just be like the size of a blue whale in the middle of the court. So that's gonna be a problem.
But then I guess, Joe, your team might have to just get good at 3/4 court shots, because if you're gonna lay the Kraken down mid court, you're not making it past either. So it just becomes the worst basketball game of all time. I'm giving it to Joe, but I think Dan's a very close second. I think we're tanking for next year. I'm tanking for a draft pick for next year. That's kind of my strategy.
Well, if it's a draft lottery, then Joe will definitely win based on the randomizers that we run.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good point. But yeah, that is our draft, our celebrity basketball draft. Another good one in the books. We should put this out on Twitter. We should put it to a vote. See what the people think. So Dan, if you'll just make up the teams, we'll
put those together. Yeah.
Put it out to a vote. Like I said, we should have AJ on hopefully next week. I don't want to promise anything because he might be selling Christmas trees again. But there's potentially comes on next week. If you guys have any ideas, any of our viewers have any ideas for a draft next week, we'd love to hear those. But other than that, any last thoughts on basketball or anything else from you guys?
Nothing from me.
I just want to. I think you should plug AJ's Instagram so if people want a Christmas tree,
Yes.
they know where to reach him.
Good point. Should I just give everyone his number?
Do that.
You want me to just give AJ's number? No, it's AJ _Panzica, PANZICA. If you want to reach him for a Christmas tree, he's really got a great account. I mean, he's traveling across the country doing crazy stuff almost every day. So if you'd like to check out what he's doing, or just see him,
Does that work?
yeah, perfect. That's it's not showing up great.
Focus. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. There's his account right there. AJ _Panzica. Perfect, Dan. Perfect. All right. Well, that's a wrap for us. Like I said, we'll be back next week. But until then, go check out SNG Network, sngnetwork.com. They are the sponsor of this show and every show. I lost. I got the lowest score in my fantasy football league this week. Had to write up an article about my friend Kyle's outfit. So you can find that on SNG Network if you are intrigued. But other than that, that's it for us. And we'll be back with you guys next week.
Sweet.